What's holding you back? Do you feel like you're not living up to your potential? Or do you feel as if your entire life is misaligned and out of sync? Well, if so, you're not alone. Take a look.
Many people go through life not knowing who they are or where they're going. They float along feeling unfulfilled and unsatisfied. Opportunities pass them by because they don't know what to do or when to do it. They're bound by fear and uncertainty. But there is hope. Bishop T.D. Jakes believes that people need to trust their God-given instincts.
Joining us now, and we're thrilled to have him back, Bishop T.D. Jakes. It's great to have you with us.
Oh, Terry, it's great to be with you.
Club.
Thanks.
Fascinating book. You talk about the value of the basic instinct that is as much a part of us as the air we breathe, you say.
Absolutely.
This all started with a trip you took to Johannesburg. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I went to Johannesburg and I was on a safari there, and for my very first time, very, very excited. And out there, I had the privilege of going on the tour with a zoologist in the company of a Zulu. The zoologist was explaining all about the animals that we rode out on the Jeep, and the giraffes and the elephants and so forth. He could explain them down to minute detail, the teeth, their mating patterns, their sleeping patterns, everything about them. But when it became time to find them, the Zulu said, "The elephant is over there." And I thought to myself, all of this intellect can describe it, but only instinct can find it.
Talk a little bit about that. You say in the book that it is part of our DNA, that it's built into us.
Yes.
For what purpose?
I think that we grapple with the complexities of understanding the purpose of God, and we have the overall panoramic view that is revealed to us through the Word, but the specificity of what is God's purpose for me, not the church, not Israel, for me, that leaves us stumped. And I believe that God has put our destiny inside of us. And instinctively, if you would go with your gut, if you would listen at your heart, out of the heart flows the issues of life. And to follow those instincts will put you on a path to where you are best suited, where you are the most creative, where you are the most functional, and where you are the most loved.
You know, I know that there's something special about what you're writing here, because I know so many people who are living unfulfilled lives, unhappy with their jobs, their personal lives are messed up. But talk a little bit about that basic instinct, because that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. How do we be sure that it's aligned with the purposes of God for our lives?
I think you have to separate instincts from urges.
Yeah, boy, that's true.
Yeah, because we all have all these urges to do all of these things that are part of our Adamic nature. But instincts center more around what has God put in me. And no wonder I'm attracted that way. No wonder I work well in quiet or silence, or my strength is interacting with people. And then investing in your gift, and really, once you identify it, you have to invest in it. You have to support it. You have to put yourself in an environment where you can shine.
How much does passion play in identifying it? Because some people seem to really have a hard time figuring out, what is my basic instinct? What are my gifts? You
know, I try to break it down in such a way that even people who are not deeply spiritual can get in touch with who they are. And part of it is the same method that Jesus did. Who do men say that I am? This perspective, what do you get when you get around me? How do I make you feel? You'd be surprised how you mirror with people and people begin to reflect back to you who you are. Helps you to define how you are, things that you don't notice about yourself, and then you cannot utilize what you cannot identify.
It's almost like you become your own self-fulfilling prophecy once you identify those things, don't you?
Right.
Talk a little bit about destiny, because you do believe that we all have destiny.
Absolutely.
How do you match this instinct you're wanting to discover in yourself and your purpose with the destiny of your life?
If destiny in its root is your destination, then your instincts are your transportation. It is the GPS guided system that helps you to get get to what you were predestined to do. See, we keep trying to fix things that are not broken. There's a reason you are the way you are. There's a reason that you are created this way so that you can fulfill your destiny. And instead of trying to turn into my best version of somebody else, what I want to be is my best, fullest expression of myself. And to appreciate that I am fearfully and marvelously made. And the reason I'm shaped this way is because I fit this part of the puzzle.
Yeah. And you say that instinct multiplies success.
Yes, yes.
So when we tune in with what you're talking about, when we identify it and we get a hold of that, it changes our whole lives.
Prosperity. We begin to prosper financially because we are the most fruitful where we are the most gifted. And then we begin to invest into that, and more than money, because a lot of people have found money and still haven't found purpose.
Boy, isn't that true?
You know?
Yes.
There are a lot of people who have plenty of money, but they're just saying, you know, there's something else in me. And if you listen, it's almost like the pacing of a lion in a cage. There's something else roaring down inside of you. Pay attention to that. Find the gate to that cage and open that cage. And in spite of the fear of the wild, run that wild while you still have the energy and the strength and the breath to do it.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned money, because so often when we feel that pacing going on inside of us, when everything isn't clicking and going where we want it to, we look for the answer outside of us.
Right.
You know, not just money, but relationships, prestige, I mean, friends, whatever it might be. And all the time, that golden treasure is hidden.
It's in you. You cannot give yourself to someone if you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You won't be valued. You shouldn't. You won't be valued appropriately in the relationship. You will either be undervalued or undervalue yourself. You have to know what you bring to the table, whether you're going into a relationship or going into business or going into a job. You couldn't go into a job. I just need a job. What do you do? I don't know. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. That's the way we live our lives. We have no resume, no summation of all the historical things that have happened to us. What is your conclusion? What is the derivative of those experiences? What have you learned about you?
I want to ask you about a specific thing. Earlier, Joel Rosenberg talked about, you know, if there was one thing that was missing in Germany at the time that all of that happened, it might have been discipleship within the body of Christ. And you say in your book, you talk about a message, or not in your book, but you talk about the message instinct to shift. And you said, our generation has done the worst job of winning our children's generation to Christ in the history of the church.
Absolutely.
How do we fix that?
It's a real problem.
It is a huge problem.
Yeah, especially in America. And I think that the problem is we got so caught up in making a living that we lost the ability to make a life. And with both parents working, which began with the baby boomers, the kids were left home alone. The computers and the laptops and the television raised them. And raised them through vehicles that we had not entered into.
And didn't understand the message behind it.
We didn't understand the message or the power of the message. And so I think we have to sit down and have those talks. In our generation, we might have been prodigal sons. We drifted away, but we came back to it because it was in our roots. We're not raising, millennials are not Sunday school kids. They haven't been to Vacation Bible School. They're not church oriented. And even though we drifted away and we went into the wildness of the 60s, we had a foundation to which we could draw back to. And I'm concerned that we need to do more to build that foundation up under the younger generation.
Boy, I'm with you on that one. Let me shift gears for a minute, because I just want to mention that you are now, in addition to all the things that you do, a movie producer. You've produced this movie, Heaven is Real. Talk about that.
Well, I had the privilege of meeting the Burpos.
Amazing.
Aren't they an amazing family?
Amazing.
I was actually speaking at Ed Young's church at the C3 conference when Todd Burpo, who was the pastor, was in the crowd. He heard me talking about producing Jumping the Broom and approached me afterwards and said, listen, I've got this book that we're talking about doing into a movie, and I want you to be a producer on it. And I said, okay. Let me read the book. So he sent me the book. I read the book, and I couldn't believe the book.
It's an amazing story.
About a little boy who almost died on the operating table and comes back with descriptions of heaven and loved ones and people that he wasn't supposed to know. And it is a true story, you know, and that's what's so powerful about it. And thankfully, Sony agreed to jump in and be a part of it. And it's coming out this Easter weekend. It's going to be incredible. Very inspirational movie.
Well, I want to I want to plug both of the things you're involved in. Let me start with the book. The book is called Instinct, The Power to Unleash Your Inborn Drive. It releases in May, but you can pre-order it right now on Amazon or wherever books are sold. You want to be sure to get your copy. If you want to know more with Bishop Jakes, go to our website at cbn.com, where he sits down with us for a behind-the-scenes segment called In the Green Room. And don't forget to watch for that movie coming up at Easter time. What a perfect time to release that.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you,
always
Terry.
a treat to have you here.